Hi everybody, this is Oksana, and in this video we're going to make this little faceted stone pendant. And unfortunately the only stone I had was this clear one, or it's clear-ish I guess, which makes it so you can see the back wires through it, but I needed a stone that's a little bit larger so that it would work, so I had to go with this one. But if you have a darker stone like a garnet or amethyst or something, then you won't see the back wire. So it does have some wires going around the back there and just around the whole stone. It basically actually just uses one piece of wire to trap this little stone in, and then one more thin little wire just to connect everything together, to hold it together nicely, and to attach these little beads, which are optional. I just thought throw them in there just to give you kind of one more little thing you can do to spruce up this pendant here. I know it can be quite tricky wrapping faceted stones because they got that bump on the back, and so I just wanted to show you this little technique. And you can make you know, its own kind of separate pendant, or you can use this as like a little dangle that you attach to another pendant, because I know sometimes, you know, these faceted stones they tend to be pretty small, so maybe you want to make a larger pendant and this is attached to it, or you can make two of these and they could be earrings. So anyways, if you want to see how I wrapped this little guy, let's get started. Here's my little stone that I'm going to be working with. Little faceted, I think this is a green amethyst. I'm not 100% sure. I've had this stone for a long time. So you can see it's got the little bump on the back. It's just like your typical faceted little oval stone, and I'll try to measure it. It is 13 millimeters, or about half an inch. So this is kind of a small one, but this technique will obviously work on different sizes, but try to keep it to an oval or a round stone, because once you get points in there like teardrop or marquee shape, I feel like it becomes a lot more difficult. So I have one piece of wire here that I'm going to use that's 8 inches, and it is, let me grab it, it's my 20 gauge square copper from riogrande.com. Dead soft copper. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna take my round nose pliers, and I am just gonna make not a tiny loop, but kind of down here on the larger portion, I'm gonna make a larger size loop. And the reason for this is to have something for that point, for that little back point, to kind of sit on. It's not like the point on this one is a little weird because it's like kind of flat this way. It's not just like a pure point, but I think as long as this is large enough, we can just kind of press it down and it'll just kind of sit there. So what you want to do once you have your loop and you're holding your stone there is, sorry, it's hard to see, but I have to pinch it tightly this way, and then I'm taking this wire and I'm just kind of pushing it around. Now I just have to adjust my grip, and I'm just going to continue pushing this wire around. So you can see it's almost creating like a little spiral. And now this is kind of sitting there a little more easily, so I don't have to pinch it quite as hard. All right, so starting to get to the edge of my stone. So what I'm gonna do, so let's see how many kind of swirls that was. So that was 1, and then 2. And now I'm here on the bottom, or I guess the way that I'm going to hold it is like this. This will be my bottom. And then what I want to do with this wire, so it's nice and on the edge of the stone now. So if I make a little loop, the loop is going to be on the front of the stone. So that's what I want to do, is I want to make a little loop. The loop will be on the front of the stone. You can use your pliers. grab my pliers here. You can use your pliers to kind of like control this loop here, because sometimes it's kind of hard to do with fingers when it gets so small. And basically I want the loop to go around, but I want the wire to continue. The wire to continue upwards, and then actually the stone is being held now because the wire is right on the edge, and then we have this loop also helping to hold it, and then this wire here, you know, if it's too open, you know, push it onto the edge more. I am now, so I bent with my pliers, I put a little angular bend in this wire here. So this can be the top and the bail of my pendant. And then here I have this wire, and it's coming down, and I actually want it to be on the side of this loop here that's on the back. So I'm just going to push it to the side because I'm going to connect them for stability. At the end of this, we're going to do some connecting so that all of this stays together nicely. So here's my wire, just kind of going all the way down the back here, and then coming back up the top, or the front, I mean. So I'm gonna try and put like a nice little curvature in it. There we go, so it doesn't look so funny, just going straight up there. And now, so if your edge of your stone was a little loose, like here, we made the loop and then we pulled this right along the edge, and that traps the front of the stone. But now, if this little edge of your stone, like maybe if you could have pushed it out, the frame wasn't small enough, now is your chance to make sure that this wire comes right on that edge of the stone tightly to trap the front of the stone from popping out. So I'm wrapping that around the bail, and let me grab my pliers here to just kind of tighten that up a little bit around the bail. Like that. And then it's gonna be here on the front, and I'm just gonna make a little swirl with it. Little decorative swirl. So let me just trim that. So just so you know, my bail is fairly small. It has a pretty small opening, as you can see there, because this whole pendant is small and the stone is small. So if it's just a small little chain, it'll fit through. But if it's something big, then just keep that in mind and make your bail bigger if you need it to fit a larger chain. Another thing I just noticed here on the back, this little loop that we made, see the little edge of it, the little wire end there, it's kind of sticking up. We don't want that, so just gonna push that down. Make sure you can't feel it. If you can feel it, just push it down some more until you cannot feel it, because you don't want it to poke anybody. There we go, it's perfect, now I can feel it. And oh yes, making this loop, sorry, I just kind of went off on a little tangent there, so I'm just gonna grab and pinch with my pliers the very end of this wire, and I'm just gonna make a little loop there, just like that. And that also helps hold the stone in because it kind of traps the top portion of the stone there. So the stone should be trapped from the front now very well. And I'm just gonna push this down a little bit. Okay, I think it's just all good now. So what we have to do is I'm just going to use a thin little wire to make some connections, because it's all held together and the stone is trapped and everything. But what happens if like this gets caught on a sweater and it just pulls the wire, you know, or this loop? So we want to attach all of these things with thin little wire to keep it all together. So the wire I'm going to use is just some 24 gauge half round wire from Rio Grande. And let me measure the piece I cut myself. This is one of those things when I make this pendant, the style is you can just keep using these little wires as you need to until it feels stable. So it's about 9 inches. So you just have to kind of go with the flow, and I'm also going to attach some little beads as well. So if we turn our pendant to the bottom here, so if I'm holding it like this, here's our front, there's the bail. So in the bottom, we have this like little thing that got created when we brought our wire around. So I'm putting the little end of my half round wire here, and I'm gonna wrap it around because I just want to attach it. So I'm just gonna wrap it around a bunch of times to make sure I have a nice kind of solid attachment there, that it's not gonna go anywhere. And then I'm gonna add some beads, and that's just for fun. You don't have to do that, but I want to. All right, so let me like super zoom in here so you can see. So I am just gonna trim off this little wire here. And then I'm just gonna take it and tuck it under like that. Okay, nice and attached. Zooming back out. So what you want to do is, if you don't want to do any beads, you can kind of keep going with this wire, but I'm gonna do a little bit of beads for fun, and these are the 2mm. This is the size of the hole, 0.037 inch hole. These are the copper seamed beads from Rio. You can do like little crystal beads or little gemstone beads just to like really spruce up your pendant. So I don't know how many of these I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna go with the flow and see how it looks and how many the stone, based on its size, requires. So far I have 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if 6 is good before I add any more here. So kind of going up the side here, and then see how right there, like if I put it in this gap between those two wires, see how right here the gap like almost ends, and you can like tuck the wire in. I think if I think that I can end it here, is what I'm trying to say. So that is good. That's a good amount. I now need to tuck this wire somewhere so that I can attach. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the wire underneath this wire here, the second wire from the front. So I'm trying to see if there's like a little gap that I can tuck it into. I mean, worst case scenario, I can just kind of lift it up a little bit with my finger and then stick it in there. There we go. That's what it came down to. So I'm just gonna pull it through. Push my little beads. They're just kind of doing their own thing there. I want them to go all the way to the end. There we go. So the wire is going kind of under here. So the beads won't be able to slip on it anymore, slide on it, because it's here. All right. Here's what that looks like. It just looks like it's got like beads on the bottom. So now I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to use it to connect these two wires. So since it's coming out here, I'm just going to put it through and underneath I might have to use my nail to lift that up again, underneath both of those wires. So now when I pull this little end, it will make like a little loop around these two wires. Okay, so now here's my wire on the back, and I'm gonna have it go across the back, and I'm gonna tuck it under here because I'm trying to get it now at this point. I'm trying to get it closer to that little loop because I want to go ahead and attach. So if you have a really clear stone, you will kind of see the wires through it naturally. It depends on how translucent your stone is because you do have wires on the back. So I want to attach this loop to this wire. So I don't want this loop getting caught on something and just lifting up. So since I brought my wire here and here it is coming under there, I'm just going to put it through the loop. Might have to lift it up a little bit, put it through the loop, and then it's just not going under. I want to wrap it around the loop, but then also around the wire. So I'm just going to very gently, ever so slightly, lift that wire up so I can get my wire there. I think I need to squish the little end of it. Sometimes the end of it, from you trying to push it in, gets curved and it prevents it from kind of going straight. There we go, that was the problem. So there we go. You can see it going under both. This portion is a little tricky, all these attachments. So now I have wrapped around and connected the loop. All right, so now I want to just come over on this side, do some things there. So I'm pushing this wire back so that I can get in here and tuck it under something. So I'm gonna just tuck it under that one there. So I kind of go with the flow on this one. I don't know if that is easier because it might be hard to try and do like literally the exact same things I do. Like maybe it doesn't work for you under that wire, but it works better like in the next wire or something, you know? So just feel free to go with the flow. The point of this is to connect your little wires. So I'm more concerned about this loop here because this loop, technically, you can lift it up. It's not connected to anything. So I'm gonna bring this wire that I have going, I'm gonna bring it around and under this loop. I'm gonna see if I can do that in a way that where it's kind of hidden. So maybe if I push it this way and just kind of pull it, yeah. That's good. So now, I've brought the wire kind of across and under the loop. I'm just trying to get it here on the other side so that I can put it through this loop. And then I'm just gonna see where it comes out. I don't have like a plan. I'm just trying to get it attached. So I'm hoping it goes through the loop and under some of these other wires. Okay, so it's coming here, almost like through the bail. That's fine. So I'm just gonna pull that tight, and then you can see the little loop there on this right there. So now it can't lift up because it's attached. So that's all connected, and now I just have to do something with this wire. So I don't want to wrap it around the bail, and the reason that I don't want to do that is because I don't want my wire end of this wire to end up somewhere up here in the bail, because then the necklace is going to be rubbing on it and it might lift up the wire end. So what I want to do is I'm just going to wrap it around. So here it is, just coming down. This wire here, the wire that kind of stems from the bail, but it's going straight down. And the only purpose of this is to finish off my wire so that I can trim it. So whatever is easier for you, you could wrap it around this here, just like whatever is the closest, easiest thing for you to do that with. So probably at least 3 times, maybe 4. So sorry you can't see, my hand is blocking it, but I'm just wrapping. I'll try to keep my hand out of the way this time. I'm just wrapping around this bottom wire here. Oh, I mean this central wire here. There we go. You can see that. Kind of keeping that tight, and that should be good. So I am trimming that little wire end there, and then I'm taking it and I'm just pinching that down, pushing the little wire end in there so it's hidden and out of the way. And here is what my pendant looks like from the back. So we made that connection there. Over here we've got this little swirl attached. Then the wire comes here. This is where we had it. We got our little beads here. So that's it. That is our little pendant here with a faceted little stone. Hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.